Does getting into a top 20 medical school matter? Do you really get that much better of an education? And most importantly, will you actually become a better doctor because of it? While medical school has become insanely competitive over the last several decades, one thing has not changed. Every pre-med dreams of going to the top 20. I'm Mike. I graduated from UCLA Medical School. I am now an anesthesiology resident in New York City, and I've helped thousands of pre-meds just like you get into medical school. Now, I'll share the arguments for both sides on whether top 20 medical schools matter. And together, we'll take a look at what the data suggests. One major argument for why your medical school matters is that it may have some significant effect on your residency options. And while it may seem like years or decades away from your pre-med self today, residency is very important. That's where you'll train to do your actual specialty, your actual career that you'll hold for 30, 40 years. That's unlike medical school, which is kind of just a training grounds for everything. Now, for competitive specialties like plastic surgery, dermatology, and orthopedic surgery, you'll certainly need every edge you can get. And there are two extreme schools of thought on whether your medical school's reputation matters. On one side, you have the camp that says that ranking doesn't matter at all. And on the other side of the spectrum are people that say rankings are everything. Let's take a deeper look at each perspective. First, rankings don't matter. This point of view comes from the argument that your entire candidacy comes from your personal accomplishments, your clerkship grades, your step scores, your letters of recommendations, your research, the strength of your resume. And all of those things trump where you go to medical school. There are strong applicants from every single medical school in the nation. The second camp, ranking is everything, argues that higher ranked medical schools simply have some strong inherent advantages. These schools may offer higher quality research experiences. They may offer early significant clinical exposure, and they have world-class faculty members that help you learn more better in less time. The argument here is that they have the resources and expertise to ratchet up your chances of success. And of course, another important argument is that these top schools have what is called a halo effect. Residency programs recognize the strong reputation of Harvard and Hopkins, and they want their residency program to be associated with that same level of excellence. And so if you imagine a residency program that only accepts students from Harvard, Hopkins, Stanford, UPenn, that certainly would feel like a powerhouse. And we have no idea of the caliber of these students themselves. Residency programs may have also trained residents from that medical school in the past. And if they've had a great experience from a former Harvard medical student, they're positively biased to select more and more of them. So yes, there's a lot to consider here when it comes to how your medical school reputation affects your professional outlook. But remember, your professional outlook is not the only thing to consider when selecting a medical school. Take my personal experience as an example. Even if Hopkins theoretically had more research opportunities or had more professional advantages, I personally elected not to go to that interview. And that was because the location was far from my loved ones, the cost was double what I would pay for an in-state program like UCLA, and these two factors that were personally important to me outweighed the concern that Hopkins's reputation was far greater than UCLA's. But let's move away from anecdotes and talk about the actual data from program directors. The NRMP's 2021 Program Director Survey reveals some interesting findings about how program directors used your medical school alma mater when making decisions for who earns a residency slot. And a reminder again about why this matters to you. You're watching this video because you want to understand how to get into medical school and how to become a doctor. And if you want personal, in-depth guidance on how to make the right decisions at every step of the way, the mentorship program at PREMED Catalyst does exactly that. If you'd like to learn more, check out the link in the description box below. According to the data, 46% of plastic surgery program directors considered medical school reputation. 36% of ENT programs, 40% of internal medicine programs, and 30% of family medicine programs. While that seems like a lot, it also can be flipped on its head to say that 50 to 70% of program directors did not consider medical school reputation. And truthfully, I'm not fully sure how to feel about this data. First and foremost, it's a survey, not quite the most powerful research data. Second, it's really hard to determine what consider means. Does it mean that their admissions process blinded their admissions committee members to where you graduated from medical school? I doubt it. And it seems to me that those numbers seem a bit lower than I'd expect. So I'm not sure about the data, but what I am sure about is that you'll want as many options as possible. Think about the Hong Kong style cafe or the Cheesecake Factory menu where you have 1,000 options to choose from. You want multiple acceptances. You want to be in the difficult position of comparing strengths and weaknesses of program to program. You want to be in the position where you can pit two acceptances against each other and leverage one to get a better financial aid package of the other. Just having more acceptances will give you the best chance of finding the best medical school fit for you, the one that most appropriately aligns with your personal and professional goals. And the only surefire way to do that and get this outcome is to build a truly competitive application. That is the only thing that will earn you multiple acceptances. So before you worry about whether the top 20 medical schools will have an effect on your future career, worry instead and worry more about the competitive application you are building today. You do not want to be in a position where you have 0 acceptances or have 1 acceptance you're lukewarm about and don't actually really want to go to. That's what you should be worrying about. And when we get to the point where we can compare and contrast top 20s and not top 20 acceptances, this video will also help with that decision. Thank you for watching and have a great day.